Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome back to KoloKraft. Welcome back to Camp KoloKraft, episode 3. Today, the main thing that I want to get done today is kind of finalise my shelter. So it's going to be doing all the little aesthetically stuff. It's going to be finally trying to cover the back in dead stuff that I know I've talked about for the past 2 videos and haven't done. So today we are going to do it. There's a few other little bits and pieces that I need to do as well. I really kind of want to make the shelter looking nice, looking as natural as it possibly can. It's been 4, maybe 5 days since I was last here, and we've had some pretty serious weather in that time. And as you can see, my troublesome wall, the left side of my shelter, has fallen down. Now, I kind of expected that, to be honest, so I'm going to be building that up again today, obviously, and see if I can find a way to potentially attach it to the main sideline of the lean-to. That way it won't fall down again. This side seems to be fine. I don't know if that's because the sticks are slightly thinner, or maybe it's because they're leaning more. I'm not entirely certain, but anyway, I'm going to rebuild that wall and see if I can make it a bit more secure. I want to, as you can see, my kind of limbs on the back, because they're not attached, are all kind of very, very open to the wind and keep sliding about the place. So that's something that I want to sort out again today. Maybe I'll attach them all at the top here to my ridge pole. I'm not entirely certain. I think that's probably what I'll do. I want to make sure that when I leave, this doesn't happen again. As you can see, the tarp, because of where it is, it's actually folding underneath my ridge pole at the moment, which is no good. So I may actually have to undo it all and re-tie it and sort of pull it so that it falls over the top of the tarp, and see if I can find a way to secure it that way. Potentially with more poles on the top, that might do the trick to keep it in place. Again, I'm not entirely certain. It may be that I have to make some buttons and attach them with some paracord to the ridge pole, but we shall see. I want to fill in the sides of my shelter as well, and by that I mean the gaps in the wall, so that it all looks spick and span. And obviously I want to try and tidy up so that when I come back next time for my overnight stay, everything is kind of set up and ready to go, and we can relax and kind of just enjoy being out here and not necessarily have to build an awful lot. So yeah, so that's the plan for today. So come along with me, hope you enjoy it. Episode 3! So I think my first job today is going to be to readjust my tarp slightly, mainly because I think it's probably the easiest thing that I'm going to do today. So I'm just going to take these poles off, pull the tarp a bit further over, and see if I can find a way to reattach it so it's further over. Yeah, so here we go, manual labour. After that I'll see about the walls and then covering it and all that stuff that I said I was going to do. Bird poop. Lovely. Oh, solid. Crispy. Oh, I'm going to have to untie it all, aren't I? One of my wall pieces just broke when I pushed it over. With all the blooming trouble I had with it. Ah. If I attach it to this support pole, then it'll pull the whole thing under. There's a good idea. I have them every now and again. worry, I won't make you watch me tie this entire knot, because this could take a while. Oh, yeah, just hit yourself in the face, well done, mate. So as you can see, what I've done now is to keep this tarp closer so it doesn't bow as much, so it gives me a bit more protection. I've actually kind of curled it back in on itself, and I've just weighted it down at the bottom here with some big logs. I'll put some stakes into the ground here just to keep this tied down, which shouldn't affect my bed and still gives me plenty of room for the back of my bed for my gear and stuff like that. So yeah, happy with this. What I'm going to do now is weight down the back with some of the bigger sticks that I took off before. I might try and find a few more just to kind of push it in a bit. Yeah, and we'll carry on from there. Going well though so far. That was relatively easy, quite happy. At some point today I'm going to cut off all of the tops of these poles just so it's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and not quite as pointy and sharp, which doesn't look very nice. So I'll do that a bit later, but for now I'm finally going to go and see if I can find loads of sort of dead grass and leaves and twigs and stuff to cover the back of this so it looks less plasticky and a bit more natural. This is going to take a long time by hand. Oh god. I need a little bit more then. Oh man, it's taking so long. I was really struggling to find stuff to put on it until I realised and noticed that actually where the river's gone down on the other side of the shelter, there's so much of this dried dead grass and wood and stuff. So I've just been down there and collecting loads of it, and as you can see, I've got tons of it now, so I wish I'd realised that at the start. Here we go. It's a very careful placement, which is not at all just shoving. Okay, I think I'm going to call that good. I know that it's not quite at the very top, but that's okay. I mean, a lot of it has fallen down anyway, so I might just brush some back up. Yeah, so the next thing to do is I need a drink, because I'm now very thirsty and dehydrated. That took quite a bit of time. So I'm going to get a drink, and then I'm going to chop the tops of these poles off so it looks a bit more aesthetically pleasing from the front, and then I'll see about redoing the sides and then tidying up in general. So yeah, although that took a while, but all in all, quite happy with that. Should I get some off the top? I don't know, I'll have a sit down. I might get some off the top after a sit down. Alright, so I've done the top. They're all chopped off now. I know they're not absolutely perfectly aligned with the tarp, ridgepole, sorry, but I feel as though I need a little bit of overhang just for the stability. Plus I didn't want to risk cutting the tarp with my saw, so I'm going to leave it like that. So the next thing to do is rebuild the sides. So there's a bit of overhang from the twigs that are on the back, so I need to cut those off, or just snap them really, it won't take much, and then put the sides back up. So that's what I'm going to do now. Whew. It's exhausting, all this shelter building, you know. Jeez. Oh, excuse me. Right. Definitely going to stick with the vertical way of popping the sides up. I'm definitely not going to risk the doing the horizontally one again, because that was just a nightmare and frustrated me a lot. So yeah, I'm going to stick the sides back up. I might attach them to each of my lean-to poles just to give them a bit more stability and keep them stable so they don't fall over like the other side did while we were away last time. So yeah, let's get cracking. I wonder, since I've changed the tarp, if I won't need as many sticks. Sticks, logs, whatever you want to call them. We shall see. The other thing that I might actually try and do is get the axe out and see if I can make these a little bit smoother, see if I can get any of these knots out, just to hopefully make it fit together a bit more. Don't know if that'll work, but we'll try. No idea if I'm making it better or worse. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing Canadian jam knot on every single pole. Yeah, I decided, if I mentioned it, I don't know if I said I'm going to do this, but I am going to tie each one to ridgepole just on the off chance that they fall apart. Which, with my workmanship, is entirely possible. Luckily, I have oodles of paracord. So how is everybody? You guys all staying at home where you can, keeping nice and safe, keeping away from people where possible. I know it's a pain at the moment, isn't it? Even going to the shops to get some groceries almost feels like a luxury at the moment. A nightmare. So I hope you guys are doing whatever you can, where you can, to keep sane. Do something fun once in a while where you can. I mean, this is my outlet, as should be fairly obvious. You know, it's a weird time to be alive. Weird time to be alive. You know what makes me the most curious actually is what's going to come out of this, you know, when it all dies down, if it all dies down. You know, what changes are going to be made in the world to try and avoid this sort of thing in the future. You know, is there anything that we can do? It's weird. Me being a skeptical type, I'm wondering kind of when, if some, hello Bumblebee, some miracle vaccine will be made and then manufacturers will charge us all an arm and a leg to get it. Or whether we'll end up with, like, you know, corona shot vaccines every so often like we do with the flu. Which seems kind of likely, isn't it? I bet somebody will make money off this. Somebody will be stand to make some money, undoubtedly. Onto the demonic, evil, awkward, difficult side, which hopefully this time won't be any of those things and will just fall into place nicely. Going to play nice this time. Side wall. I think it is. I think it's going to play nice. Okay, paracord. So many random bits of paracord, so I'm just using it up. Stuff it in your pockets, pull a bit out at a time. Right. Only question now is which log went where? Oh. Alright guys, well that took a while, but we're done. The walls are finished and I am pretty much now set in terms of what I'm going to do before I spend the night here. So I'll give you a quick tour, shall I? So at the moment, as you can see, my fire pit is an absolute mess. So what my plan is, because I mean that's just in the fire pit, all of those random bits of wood that I started building with and then ended up not using. There's a bunch more there. There's my tripod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all that up, maybe process some of it and put it probably inside my shelter at the back behind my bed there, so that the next time I come down here to spend the night, hopefully all of that wood will have stayed dry. But yeah, so this is what the front of my camp looks like. And then we've got one of the walls are done. As you can see, there are still some gaps in it, which I may try and plug up next time before we spend the night. This is what it looks like from the back. Not bad, eh? Pretty decent coverage. As I say, at the top there, as you can see, the top it's still a bit bare, which I might do something about before I go home today. I don't know. We'll see, because I'm kind of tired now. But yeah, I think that looks pretty decent. Looks much better than it just being the horrible green tarp anyway. And then there is the other side, the other wall. So this one, as you can see, there's a few bigger gaps in that I need to take care of. But we'll find a way of doing that at some point. So yeah, all in all, pretty happy. First ever attempt to make a bushcraft shelter. I think we've done a pretty good job. So the only things that I'm going to do now, as I said, I'm going to clean up a bit. I'm going to go and get my chopping block that is back in the woods somewhere. Just that I've got it here, so it's all ready and set up and ready to go. So yeah, I'll give you a look once it's all finished and squared away and looking lovely and tidy. Good job, this is nice and light. Woo! Covered in muck. Alright folks, well, I think I am done for the day. I'm really happy with how the camp's turned out. We actually got quite a lot done today. I mean, I hope this wasn't too much like the previous episode for you guys. I mean, I feel like we've done quite a lot. You know, we reset the tarp, pulled it over the top, so I'm less worried about less worried about rain and wind. Covered the back in dead stuff, which I've been wanting to do for a while. I just wish I'd realised all the stuff down by the river was all dead and easily collectible. That would have taken a lot shorter time, but there we go. What else did we do? Redid the walls, really happy with that now that they're nice and secure and they're not going to fall down in the wind. And generally just tidied up camp, you know, all of the wood, all the extra building materials that were lying around, collected all of that up and put it behind my bed. So I'm very happy with that. Brought my splitting log, got another big log on the floor there to split smaller stuff. So in general I feel we're set. So in the next episode I will come and I will spend the night out here. I'll do an overnighter. So we'll bring some food. If I can get hold of a steak, I will. I don't know if I'll be able to, what with all the craziness that's going on in the shops at the moment, as I'm sure you guys are more than aware of. But if I can, I'll get hold of one and we'll cook something over the open fire. Bring a few beers down. I'll see if I can get hold of a nice whiskey as well to enjoy. So I'm really looking forward to that. But as I say, I'm actually really pleased with how the camp has turned out. I think I'm pretty much done, to be honest. The only other thing that I might do is see if I can fill these walls, fill the gaps in the walls with something. I might do that next time. I don't think that'll take too long. I mean, if the river's still really low like it is, it should be quite easy just to go and grab some stuff and stuff it in the gaps. So maybe we'll do that as well. But as I say, thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you are new, you know, as always, please feel free to share this stuff, like it, comment, and if you are new, please consider subscribing. It genuinely means a massive amount to me. So thank you very much, guys, and I shall see you in the next episode. Take care.